Hello everyone. In the previous video, we have seen 8085 microprocessor architecture, and in this video, we will see pin diagram of 8085 microprocessor with its detailed description of each and every pin. So Intel 8085 is 40 pin DIP, that is dual inline package IC, and it is classified in 6 different groups. One is address bus, data bus, control and status signal, power supply and system clock, externally initiated signals, serial IO signals. So the first one is address and data bus. So 16 address lines are there starting from your pin location 12 to 19 to 21 to 28. So 16 address lines are there. The address bus has 8 signal lines, or you can say A8 to A15, which is unidirectional, and other 8 address bits are multiplex. So you can say here the lower address bus, that is A0 to A7, are multiplex with your data bus, that is D0 to D7, and after multiplexing they are forming as AD0 to AD7. Fine. So during the execution of this, lines carries the address bits during the early part. That means in the first clock cycle it carries address part, okay, and in the second and third clock cycle it carries the data part. So in order to differentiate between address and data, we are using latch. Okay, and how it will use this latch? So we have one signal, or in one pin, that is called as address latch enable pin, which you will see in the next slide. So for now, just you have to understand that when any instruction is fetched, the memory address on the multiplexed address or data bus, that is AD0 to AD7, during the first clock cycle. Okay, so address is appeared during the first clock cycle of the machine state, and later on the data bus or data is appeared on the second or third clock cycle of machine state. So next pin is your ALE, that is address latch enable pin. So ALE is an output pin and it indicates whether the bus functions as an address or it is functioned as a data. If ALE is equals to 1 or high on this pin, ALE pin high, then the bus function as a address bus. If ALE is equals to 0, or you can say low on this pin, that means the bus function as a data bus. Fine. These pins S0 and S1 are the output pins, are called as status signal. So you have this S0 and S1 pin, these are called as status signal, and the status, it shows the operation. What kind of operation it shows? It shows when both S0 and S1 are 0, or you can say low, so it is halt operation is there. When both S0 and S1 are high, or you can say 1, then it is opcode fetch. When S0 is equals to 0 and S1 is equals to 1, it is reading operation, and when S0 is equals to 1 and S1 is equals to 0, it is a writing operation. The next control signal is your RD bar. This RD bar signal is read bar signal, or you can say read signal, and it is an active low signal. This signal indicates the read operation from input output devices, or you can say memory devices, and data will be available on the data bus. The next signal is your WR bar, which is output signal, and it indicates the write operation. So data on the bus are to be written into the selected memory, or you can say input output location, device location. Okay, so next pin is your IO bar pin, which is again output pin, and this is what the status signal, and it is differentiating between your input output device or whether it is memory operation. So whenever it is memory operation is there, that means this pin is 0. So when IO bar pin is equals to 0 or low on this signal, it indicates that memory operation is being performed, and when IO bar is equals to 1, it indicates that IO operation is being performed. Okay, these operations being performed is indicated by, means whether memory read or writing operation is there, that is indicated by your S0 and S1. These are the status pins are there. Okay, so next pins or bunch of pins, you can say that power supply and system clocks. The power supply is your VCC, that is your 5 volt supply is connected with this pin, that is your 40 number pin, and VSS it is your 20 number pin, and it is connected to the ground reference. The next pin is your X1, X2, which are input pin, and they are connected to external quartz crystal. This crystal you can see here, the external quartz crystal, or you can say LC or RC network, which drives the internal clock generator. The clock signal of appropriate frequency is determined by the quartz crystal, and it is connected to the on-chip oscillator of the microprocessor. The oscillator output from the Smith trigger drives this flip-flop. This is here JK flip-flop is shown. So drives this JK flip-flops, which divides the frequency by factor 2. Okay, and the output of this flip-flop or giving or the output is gives two clock signals, that is this, you can see that phi 1 and phi 2, these clock signals are there. Okay, so it provides two clock signal phi 1 and phi 2 to derive the internal circuit of microprocessor. 6. So by meaning of divide means that the frequency is internally divided by 2. That means if you want to operate a system at 3 megahertz, the crystal should have the frequency of 6 megahertz. In microprocessor, a 6.25 megahertz crystal is used to operate 3.125 megahertz internal clock frequency. The next pin is your clock pin. It is an output pin, and the signal can be used as a system clock for other devices. The next pin is your ready pin. This is input pin, and it is used to synchronize between peripheral devices and microprocessor. It is assumed, or you can say, you can consider that peripheral devices are slower than the microprocessor. A low value on this pin causes the microprocessor to enter into wait state, and it will remain in wait state until the ready pin or the clock input goes high. Next is your HOLD, that is hold pin. So HOLD or hold pin is used to request the microprocessor to get control of data bus and address bus for direct transfer of data. Generally, DMA controller like 8257 or 8237 are used. High signal on this pin is used to request microprocessor to release hold buses. Which buses? Address and data bus. Okay, and then the request is sent by the DMA controller. And the more on the DMA controller we will see in the upcoming session. So next pin is your HLDA or hold acknowledgement. If hold pin is high, that means a request from the DMA controller is sent to the microprocessor, and then microprocessor in return sent that it has received the hold request, and it will send HLDA, that is hold acknowledgement signal. So it is an output pin, and microprocessor uses this pin to acknowledge the receipt of hold signal. Next are your interrupt signal. Sometimes what happens, it is necessary to interrupt a microprocessor in its execution to execute some other task. For this purpose, an interrupt request is taken from an interrupt request is obtained from IO devices. After receiving the interrupt request, that is your INTR, after receiving this INTR request, microprocessor uh, temporarily stop what it is doing and attend the IO devices, that is your peripheral devices. Then INTA is an acknowledgement to this INTR. So INTA, you can see this INTR request is coming inside to the microprocessor, and INTA is going out of the out from the microprocessor to send the acknowledgement that it has received INTR request from the peripheral devices. There are total basically 5 hardware interrupts are there, namely your INTR is first interrupt, then RST 6.5, RST 5.5, RST 7.5, and if there are more than you can say more than 2 interrupts are occurred, then the microprocessor will decide based on its priority. That is, trap has highest priority than RST 7.5, than RST 6.5, than RST 5.5, and last one is INTR. That means trap has highest priority and INTR has lowest priority. So RST 7.5, 6.5 and RST 5.5 are called as restart interrupt. These are the restart interrupt. They are used to make the processor execute a subroutine at predefined address. That means these are the vectored interrupt, and it has some common subroutine program. Okay, these interrupts does not have any acknowledgement signal, as we have seen in case of INTR we have INTA as an acknowledgement signal. Next is your trap. So trap is again your interrupt. Trap interrupt is non-maskable interrupt, or you can say non-maskable restart interrupt. Non-maskable means which any programmer or CPU cannot change. It has highest priority than any interrupt. The next pin is your reset pin. So reset in is your active low pin, that is bar reset. So active low pin, it is used to reset the microprocessor. When the signal on this pin, this reset pin goes low for at least 3 clock cycle, it forces the microprocessor to reset. So what is meant by resetting? Resetting the microprocessor means clearing the program counter, instruction register, disabling all interrupts except trap, as trap is non-maskable interrupt. So microprocessor also cannot handle this interrupt. Disabling the SOD pin, that is serial output data pins. Then it gives high output to reset out pin. So it gives high output to reset out pin. The next pin is your reset out. So it is used to reset the peripheral devices or other ICs on the circuit. Again, it is output signal, active high signal, and the output on this pin goes high whenever reset in bar is given low signal. So basically, reset in bar used to reset microprocessor. When this pin is high, it will passing high output to the reset pin, and after high output reset pins means reset in kept low. Okay, so when reset in is there low, then reset out is high. That means it will again reset all the peripheral devices and other ICs which are connected to the your circuit. Next one is your serial IO signal, that is SID and SOD. So pin number 4 and 5 represents these pins, SID and SOD pin. These pins are associated with your serial input output control for your 8085 microprocessor. As we discussed in the 8085 microprocessor architecture, that these pins or this unit, one unit is there, serial input output transmission unit, is used for serial communication. For this purpose, these two pins are used, SID and SOD. So what happens when SID pin or this terminal receives any data, serial data, not data, it's a serial data it will receive from the input devices, then the control unit which convert this serial data to parallel data before it is used by the computer, and after the conversion 8-bit parallel data is stored in the accumulator. Similarly, the SOD pin, or you can say serial out data pin or terminal, outputs the 8-bit parallel data available with the accumulator into serial form and to the peripheral devices. And for this purpose, we can see here the SIM, that is your set interrupt mask, and RIM, that is read interrupt mask instructions are used. Okay, so I think this completes our 8085 pin description. In the next lecture, we will see instruction set of 8085 microprocessor. Thank you.